Okay, so let's get right into it. You've got 1 month left until the CA Foundation exam. The pressure is on, right? The syllabus probably feels like it's a mile high, and that clock is just ticking louder and louder every single day. We totally get it. But what if I told you that this final month isn't about panicking? It's about having a plan. A solid, practical blueprint to turn this massive challenge into your first huge win.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that's probably keeping you up at night. You look at the books, you look at the calendar, and you just think, is this even possible? Can I really climb this mountain in just 30 days?
Well, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And that's not just some motivational talk. That quote right there is from CA Aisha Verma. She was in your exact position. No family background in the field, no fancy coaching, just about 30 days to get it done. And she did. This just goes to show you that with the right strategy, it is absolutely possible.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start by acknowledging the challenge. Then we'll lay down the 3 absolute pillars of success, map out a 3-stage game plan, and then we'll dive deep into a subject-wise attack plan and how to crush it on exam day. Let's get to it.
Okay, first things first, let's be real. Tackling this exam in 30 days is like climbing a mountain. It's going to be tough, it's demanding, but here's the thing, it is not impossible. The trick is to stop staring at the very top of the peak and just focus on taking the next step. And that's exactly what our plan is all about. To build any solid strategy, you need a rock-solid foundation. And for this 30-day sprint, there are 3 non-negotiable rules. Think of these as your climbing gear, You absolutely cannot make it to the top without them. All right, pillar number 1, you have got to focus on the high-yield topics. This is not the time to become an expert on every single sentence. It's about being smart and targeting the chapters that carry the most marks. Pillar 2, the ICAI material is your Bible. Seriously, in such a short time, you can't afford to be jumping between different books. Your official modules are where the questions come from. And Pillar 3, the 10 to 12-hour rule. For this 1 month, think of studying as your full-time job. It's a serious commitment. Okay, so we've got our rules. Now let's turn them into an actual timeline. We're going to break down the next 30 days into 3 clear, manageable stages. This is how you take something that feels impossible and make it feel totally doable. So, stage 1, the first 15 days, it's all about covering the ground. The key here is to pair up a practical subject, like accounting, with a theory subject, like law. It keeps your brain from getting bored. Stage 2, the next 10 days, is all about revision and drills. This is where you live and breathe revision test papers, or RTPs. Word is, about 20 to 30% of the exam often comes from the latest RTPs. And finally, stage 3, the last 5 days, this is the mock marathon. The biggest mistake people make is not practicing their writing enough. 1 full mock test every single day under exam conditions. That's how you build the stamina and speed you need. All right, time to zoom in. We've got our overall game plan, but how does that apply to each of the 4 papers? Let's break down the subject-wise attack plan. First up, Paper 1, Accounting. This is really the backbone of the entire CA course, and it's your best chance to build up a strong aggregate score. You should be aiming high on this one because a great score here can really help balance out the other papers. Now, take a look at this. This is where you need to be smart. A massive chunk of the marks, we're talking 30 to 40%, comes from just 2 areas, final accounts and partnership. That's the secret right there. Focus your energy here for the biggest possible payoff. Okay, let's talk about paper 2, business laws. This one can be a little tricky. Why? Because it's not just about understanding the concepts, you have to speak the language of the law. And this chart right here basically gives you your study plan. Look at that. The Indian Contract Act is a giant. It accounts for up to 35% of the paper. Your journey through the law syllabus has to start here. No question. And here's a pro tip for scoring well. You have to use professional terms. Just writing in plain English isn't going to get you top marks. You need to show the examiner you've got a professional grasp. So instead of saying void from the beginning, you write void ab initio. Instead of let the buyer beware, you use caveat emptor. Getting these terms down through writing practice is an absolute must. Next up, paper 3, quantitative aptitude. I know. For a lot of people, this is the paper that causes the most stress. But let's try to reframe that. With the right approach, this isn't a roadblock. It's a high-scoring machine just waiting to be unlocked. So, how do you turn that fear into a ton of marks? You focus.
Logical reasoning, that's a guaranteed 20 marks right there. Master it. The time value of money chapter, that alone can get you up to 14 marks. This slide is basically your treasure map to scoring 60 plus just by concentrating on these heavy-hitting areas. And here is an absolute game changer of a tip. Your calculator isn't just a tool, it's your secret weapon in this paper. Seriously, how fast you are with functions like M+ and GT can be the difference between finishing on time and leaving easy marks behind. And finally, we have paper 4, Business Economics. Just like paper 3, this is an MCQ-based paper, so it's all about speed and accuracy. The strategy here is pretty simple. Lock down the core concepts that carry the most weight. That means you need to master demand and supply, production and cost, and price determination. Those chapters are the heart of this paper and your fastest route to a solid score.
Okay, you've put in the hard work for 30 days, you've done the studying, but preparation is only half the battle, right? Now we need to talk about execution. How do you perform when the pressure is on, inside that exam hall?
First off, you gotta know the rules of the game. This is the official passing criteria from ICAI, and it's a two-part deal. You need to score at least 40% in every single paper, and your total score across all 4 papers has to be 50% or more. If you miss even one of those conditions, you're out. It's that simple. And you can't approach every paper the same way. For the subjective papers, that's accounting and law, a great rule of thumb is to give yourself about 1.5 minutes per mark. But for the objective papers, maths and economics, it's all about speed. You cannot spend more than 90 seconds on a single question. If it's taking too long, mark it for review and move on.
And this is so important. In papers 3 and 4, there's a penalty if you get an answer wrong. You lose 1/4 of a mark for every incorrect answer. What does that mean? It means blind guessing can seriously hurt you. If you genuinely have no clue, it's often way better to just leave it blank.
So we've covered the strategy, the subjects, the exam day tactics, but that brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, your mindset during this last push.
Let me just ask you a question. With all this preparation, what do you think is the single biggest reason so many students fail in these last 30 days? It's actually not because they don't know the material, and it's not a bad strategy. It's something much simpler than that.
They give up. It's that simple. As C.A. Isha Verma said, a huge number of students just look at that mountain in front of them and decide it's too high to climb. They stop trying. And you know what? That is your single biggest opportunity. Because while other people are quitting, your decision to keep going is what's going to push you past them.
So as you head into these next 30 days, I want you to remember this. The sacrifice you're making is temporary, but the achievement is going to be permanent. That CA prefix before your name, that's a brand of excellence you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. This month isn't just about an exam. It's the first step you take toward earning that title. So believe in yourself, trust the plan, and go make it happen.